so don't miss it at all. In the next few months, a star in the night sky is going to burst in front of our eyes. And you will be able to see it even without a telescope in India. Wherever you live in India, you have to find this pattern in the north. This is called the Northern Crown. Now the spot you are looking at, there is nothing here yet. But according to NASA scientists, this year there is going to be a big explosion here very soon, which will be visible even without a telescope from our normal eyes. This explosion, can you believe it, will look like this continuously for 2 to 3 days. And then for the next 80 years, it will disappear again, only to return in the future after 80 years again. And that's why I said that most probably this is going to be the only chance for all the people on Earth to be alive. It will disappear. But how can such a dim star burst with a bright flash? This process takes years. Last time when something like this happened in the year 1600, the night sky was like this for 18 months. Not just one but 2 Venuses were present in the sky. So I will ask you again, why is this star so violent? And do you remember I said that it is going to burst again after 80 years? So how can this star burst once, and then it bursts again? How can this be? Moreover, scientists are also saying that with the help of this explosion, we can also find out how life began on Earth. But how? One explosion which is being said to be going to happen after at least 3 months, how can it be connected to the process of life that began on Earth 3 billion years ago? Well, the answers to all the questions are very interesting. And in order to know them, we will have to go back in time a little bit. In the year 1866, when the source of this explosion was being recorded in a personal diary of an ordinary railway man. His name was Alexei Kamenchuk. He used to see stars in the sky every night when he went home. He was so interested in astronomy that he knew the exact location of every star and every constellation. One night when he was going home and was looking at the stars every day, he saw a strange thing in the sky. He suddenly saw a new star in the Northern Crown, the Coronæ Borealis constellation. A star which was not there till yesterday. And you know what's even more weird? That star remained as bright as our stars for 2 to 3 days and then disappeared again. Now, Alexei Kamenchuk was an ordinary railway man. If he wanted, he could have easily spotted this new star. But he didn't do that. He asked himself a simple question. How long does it take for a star to become? Well, at least 1 million years. And after at least 7 to 10 billion years, that star dies. So, what's the difference in this? That this star just became a star in a day and after 2 to 3 days, it burst. Well, this thought started eating Alexei from within. And it got the best out of his curiosity. And that's why he started looking for clues of that missing star in that direction with his home telescope. That even if it burst, it must have left some marks behind. And with this thought, with the help of the telescope, this time, he found the remains of that star in the night sky. And that's when he found out that the star's remains were not just the remains of the star. The star of the eye was present there. Not only was it not visible through normal human eyes, but it was visible through the telescope. Now, this thing made Alexei even more curious. From that day, he started recording the brightness of that star every night from his telescope. And just like that, he spent the rest of his life chasing after the behavior of one particular star. And then, one fine day, history repeated itself. In 1946, that star again lit up in the same way as Alexei recorded it in 1866. And just like the last time, it disappeared again in 2 to 3 days. And now, cut to 2016, in the same place, in the same constellation, again, some similar patterns were seen. So, what happened in 2016? Well, in 2016, when some astronomers were observing the northern hemisphere through telescopes, they saw a star that was behaving in a very strange way. They saw that it was dim bright, like an ordinary star. this pattern was visible. But within a matter of 4 to 5 years, which, by the way, is an extremely short lifespan for a star's life cycle, its brightness was drastically decreasing. And fun fact, again, this could only be seen through a telescope. So, obviously, they also started backtracing this in time. And that's when they found out that already in 1866 to 1946, a railwayman named Alexei had studied in detail. And so, the astronomers started studying Alexei's data. So, it's good that Alexei's data came in handy here. And with this data, they hoped that they would get some clue. They found out that whatever happened between 1866 and 1946 were the same events as it is in 1946. And the most weird part is that in both the cases, there is exactly a gap of 80 years. Now, before we understand why there is a gap of 80 years, what's the most interesting thing about science? Well, that is, science always keeps upgrading its methods and technology. Take medical science as an example. A few years ago, metal wire braces were the only option to fix crooked teeth and teeth gaps. But they are very painful. Their treatment is very difficult. And you have to face a lot of food restrictions. But today, there is a much better alternative available. Teeth aligners by Tootsie. Tootsie teeth aligners, just like your braces, fix all kinds of alignment issues like crooked or gap teeth in about 6 to 10 months. Which is much less time than metal braces. Tootsie teeth aligners are completely invisible and you can wear and take them off very easily. Meaning, they won't be visible and there won't be any problem while eating. Plus, all of this at prices, same as braces. The process of making Tootsie aligners is also very simple. They have their own app. For teeth scan, Tootsie's trained pros come home to more than 21 cities in India. And along with that, they have 25 experience centers and 2,000 partner clinics. Because of working on this massive level on new technology, Tootsie aligners are very affordable. And Tootsie has designed smiles of more than 2.5 lakhs. So results are totally guaranteed. I personally think everyone deserves a confident smile and well-aligned teeth. So consider checking out Tootsie teeth aligners. Click on the link in the description and download the Tootsie app to book a 3D teeth scan for free. So now the question is, what did these astronomers interpret from Alexei's data? Did they get the secret information with which they were able to make these predictions? So what did these astronomers actually do? Between 1866 and 1946, whatever data Alexei noted, they made a graph of brightness with the help of it. And then they matched it with the graph they had recorded. Now this gray line here is the data from 1866 to 1946 and the blue dots are the recent data. You can clearly see that both the data are almost perfectly matching each other. But after that, suddenly in 1946, the brightness of that star has drastically increased. That is, in current times, the same peak as in 1946, this time again in 2024, the same peak will be seen in 2026. This means that the same peak that Alexei saw many years ago, the same exact peak will be seen today by our generation as well. Actually, scientists have found out that the peak that is going to happen is not a single star, but a binary system made up of 2 stars. Its name is T Coronii Borealis, or TCRB in short. The star in this star system is a white dwarf, which means a star that is formed when a star like our Sun dies. And the second star is a red giant star, which is basically just an old star. Now, do you know what is the most important thing about this star system? Both these stars rotate so closely to each other that the distance between them is literally as far as the distance between the Sun and Mercury. Because of this white dwarf is pulling the outer layer of this red giant towards itself with the help of its gravity. Due to which, around that white dwarf, an accretion disk of matter is being formed. Due to this, the weight of that disk is increasing. And as the weight increases, the matter in it starts putting pressure on each other. Due to this continuous pressure, One point comes that the temperature of the disk starts increasing and the nuclear fusion begins in the core of the star. Now, as soon as the fusion begins, that white dwarf starts throwing out energy. And due to the energy coming out of this fusion, that white dwarf throws out all its energy with a big blast. At this point, TCRB becomes 5 times brighter than before. Now, this phenomenon is very interesting, and astronomers call it nova. In fact, due to this, in 1866, Alexei suddenly saw one day without a telescope. So, now we know exactly what is happening there.